So this week, I'm going to talk about interview kind of techniques. For clients this week, I've actually been interviewing people that I help run an offshore energy business down in Catterick. Really fantastic business. We grew 40% last year, and they make cable protection equipment that goes into oil and gas and renewables. Really great company, really dynamic, and a very tough environment. And one of the things that we really kind of look at is that how do we build the team in the places that we need to really help the company kind of grow? How do we tackle bottlenecks? And then my job is to look at the strategy for the business. Where do we take it? How do we do it? But then likewise on the people side to it, how do we find the right animal, the right person for that particular role? And actually, so we're recruiting for a proposals engineer at the moment, and I interviewed one guy last Friday and then 3 on Wednesday. All brilliant people, and there's absolutely no kind of question about that. You wouldn't invite them to interview unless you were mega impressed with them. But often as a business owner or someone that runs someone else's business, you have to make a call on who do you invite in, how and why do you recruit different people. And again, as someone that's been through interviews and stuff in my career in the past, there are certain tips and things which will help you kind of really stand out. So the first one, which is obvious, have a good CV. Really, you want to tailor your CV for whoever it is that you're applying to work for. If you have relevant experience, which is relevant to the person you're targeting, bring it out, put it in, because often when I'm reading through CVs, personally, I don't mind if it's 1 page or 6 pages. Because I actually give it about the same amount of time and I'll just skim through it. I know some people say it should only be 2 slides because people only give it 20 seconds. But I think when you're quite experienced, your eye just skims through and you're looking for brand names, people, experience, and it all depends on what you're kind of looking for. But definitely tailor your kind of CV for what you're looking at. Next one is research. So the research actually goes with tailoring your CV. So actually look at what is the company, what do they do, what do they want to hear. So almost treat it like an exam question. The more you can kind of play back to them what they're looking for, you're more likely to get picked. Does that make sense? And then likewise, relating to this, questions. In one of the interviews I did on Wednesday, one of the guys asked just really good questions where he'd obviously done his homework, he looked at social media and asking stuff which was relevant to the company, but it showed that they'd made an effort. There's nothing worse when you're looking to recruit someone and you think they're not really asked, they're just flying their CVs out and they're not really bothered who they want to work for. They're just trying to get a bit of extra money. And it shows, if someone's really kind of done their homework. But again, doing your homework and actually being passionate about the topic, it really kind of does come through. And then back to the CV point of view, yes, some jobs will have a base level of requirement. So it might need you to have an engineering degree or a law degree or a certain amount of experience. But that in some ways is flexible. What is so much more important is the passion, the person, their enthusiasm. And that really kind of comes through. So we didn't even necessarily really consider grades, but actually, I know that's all you worry about when you're a student, but actually it's all the stuff around it. So again, if you go back to the first thing I talked about today, which is about leadership through sport, the more community stuff that you can get involved in, it really does shine through that, especially if the person who's probably a business leader and where you want to work, if they're into sport, if they've done volunteering, if they've done all this kind of stuff, it will make a big difference on them putting you forward and not putting you forward. And that's just kind of really important. Next is how you dress. So actually, although a lot of interviews now, or at least first interviews, are on Zoom or remotely, dress as you would for the interview or what you think is appropriate for the position. It just shows you've made an effort, and actually all these things do kind of add up. And then likewise related to this, and it's all about the appearance, the feel that you give the interviewer. Be on time, be prepared, be ready, set up, make sure your audio is working. And you want that process to be as slick and as easy as possible for the person to get to know you. They obviously from your CV have seen something they like and they trust. But actually, for that, when you often shortlist, then it comes down to gut feel on, I kind of like this person, I'm not sure why. They're prepared, they've put the time, they've put the effort in, and I believe that they will follow that through to the job, versus someone that isn't really that bothered and they might have a higher degree grade, but actually they're not quite as good. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about as well is that, you know, for any interview that you go for at any stage of your career, tailor the CV, but really kind of put it across and why you're passionate, that kind of thing. And then there's so many easy wins that will really help give confidence to the people that you want to impress, I guess, because you want the job, to kind of build that relationship. And the other thing that I always try and get across as well, often when you go for a job, especially when you're younger, you think that every job could be a dream job. But actually, the more you go through your career and the more kind of businesses you get involved in, you realize that actually you have different types of personalities, you have different animals that are suited for different jobs. So just because might not be right for this particular job that you applied for, you could be superb for something else. So it's not a reflection on you, but then hopefully if you have a good interviewer and someone that you're looking to build a relationship with, like there's people that I've interviewed in the past kind of year that actually turned down the job, but we've stayed in touch because I want to stay in touch with them, because you never know what's going to happen down the line. And then likewise, you know, maybe if you are the interviewer and you've got a bit more experience, give people some pointers, some feedback, and actually that kind of thing, but in a really positive way. That if you're interviewed by a nice person, they should want to help you, even if you're not the right fit for that particular organization or that particular job, if that makes sense. But again, coming back to this, and I covered it in last week's live stream, your brand, your experience, your skills will really kind of shine through. You need to be able to demonstrate how you have relevant experience, which is arguably say unique to you, but it's valuable to the employer. And then just be honest. And it really does kind of come through as well. So if you catch up on YouTube, please feel free to like and subscribe if you're interested in this. On the channel, we mostly cover kind of business and entrepreneurship type content. And yeah, my name's Steve, and I love it kind of if you get in touch.